Hi there friends, it's Cassie. Welcome back for another video here on my YouTube channel. Today we have a special, it's actually an Instagram hop between Pearblossom Press and Trinity Stamps. It's a collaboration and it's over on Instagram. I'll have everything linked down below, but let's talk about what we're using first. I have the Pearblossom Press stamp set. It also has matching dies to go along with it. We're going to be using an easy light today. You guys know how much I love those. We have some Pearblossom Press Vellum. This is just the translucent stuff, the regular stuff. And then from Trinity Stamps, we have our tiny UFO and we have the Abducted stamp set that has matching dies as well. So let's go ahead and jump into it. I really think this UFO is cute and I'm excited to light it up. All right. So for our background, I have a piece of black cardstock that measures 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inches, and I have brought in some Simon Hurley Create Solar Spray. These are absolutely gorgeous. They're good on dark cardstocks especially, but they really look good on lighter ones as well. We're going to make our background with this. It doesn't look like I'm doing much. I'm just kind of spritzing, trying to get some bigger spots and some smaller spots. And like I said, it doesn't look like much there, but when I put it in the light, you can see all of this beautiful shimmer. So I'm going to heat set that to make sure that that's good and dry before we move on to the next part. But I used the Royal Flush is the color that I used, so it's a beautiful purple. And I'm going to bring in some Picket Fence White Distress Paint, just a little bit of it, added a little bit of water, and then I'm going to try and splatter just tiny splatters all over my background to add a little bit more like it's stars. So we have this beautiful galactic background looking. I love it. So look at that shimmer. And so we need to set that off to the side to dry, and then we'll start piecing all of our stuff together. So to save a little time, I die cut out my UFO. I'm using purples. We're kind of going with a theme here. And I've got all 3 different variations of purple. And so I'm going to start piecing things together. You can see I've got the die off to the side. You can see which pieces are what. I'm going to put this one starting just using liquid glue to adhere everything together. And that way those holes are open. Which would be a fun place to add some lights. And then we've got our bottom portion. Keep in mind this bottom portion could also go on the back if you wanted those holes to be covered. If you didn't want those holes to be shown, you could use like a yellow or something like that to make it look like it's glowing without using lights. Then we're just going to put some glue right on our UFO and we can put these other pieces down. And they're pretty thin, so I'm using my pickup stick for this. And my fingers. This UFO is fun. It's small, but it's just super cute. And it goes so perfectly with that Abducted stamp set. And then our final piece here is it's kind of like the outside of the rim or whatever of the saucer. All right, so there it is. I've made it. We're done with that part. And I'm now going to put together the Greetings Earthling, and this does take a little bit of time because those are tiny little letters. I'm using reverse tweezers, and I'm actually going to go from the outside of the word starting with the G and also the last letter, and then we'll work our way in because I just thought that that was easier for me to put together that way. And I'm not going to show you me putting it together the whole way because I mean, you get the gist. I'm basically just grabbing each of the letters, putting some liquid glue on the back of them, and adhering everything down to the front. But how cute is that? Greetings, Earthlings. You could just use the Greetings, and you could use one of the other stamp sets from this new Trinity Stamps release, and you could have a lot of fun with that. So we have our words. Miles has been a wonderful, and now we have Max. We have both quality control, checking out to make sure that I am making this card correctly. And I'm just placing things on there so I know where to die cut. We're also going to die cut out not only the like the ray of light for the beam, but we're also going to die cut out the UFO where the UFO would go. And I'm going to trim off the top of the UFO. And this is where I bring in our vellum. So I'm going to use this full sheet of vellum. I'm going to cut it down just so that it'll cover that piece or cover the opening that I've die cut out. And I am going to use that last piece to just kind of double up the background. I'm not so concerned about the sides of the UFOs. Those will be, or of the UFO, it will be covered by the UFO itself. I'm just mostly concerned about right in the center. So you can kind of see where that's going to sit. Before I adhere any of that vellum down, I do need to mark on my card base where the UFO sits. This will just help me with placement for our lights, and I'm not going to outline the whole bit of it. I'm just outlining the edges and the top part. And now I can adhere down the vellum. I just wanted to make sure that I knew exactly where pieces were going to need to be, and the best way to do that is to outline. So my card base is just a white card base. It was 5.5 inches by 8.5 inches, scored at 4 1/4. So it's a side folding A2. And you can see I've doubled up that vellum just on the center. Like I said, the sides don't matter. It's going to be covered by our UFO. And so now I can just put our UFO down. We're just going to use some liquid glue on that as well. And it's already starting to look pretty good. And then we can adhere down our words. And then this could just be even saying hi, or it could be a birthday card. However you want to do it, could be just fun. I'm bringing in this Mylar paper from Bazzill Basics, and it actually comes from the Cardstock shop. I only needed a chunk of this pink. It's so pretty, and it works really, really well if you want to hide stuff. Hide whatever it is, and then your light will kind of make it shine a little bit more. So I'm stamping on this little piece of white cardstock. I don't end up using that little white piece of cardstock. I actually end up stamping the little UFO on the back of the vellum. So he's actually stamped right now on the very back of my panel. You can't really see him. You can kind of see him, but you can't really see him. I'm going to bring in one of the easy lights, and again, super easy. Just make sure the plus is pointing up and everything works beautifully. So now we can start thinking about where exactly we want our lights to be. So I'm playing around with the cardstock piece right now, and I decide I don't really love that. So we're not going to use the white piece of cardstock. As you can see, that alien is kind of back there. And if I have the light showing, he really lights up, which is good. And then I'm just going to stamp down this little person getting beamed up. That Abducted stamp set's cute because you've got all these different little characters that you could have beaming up, and you have 2 different kinds of aliens, which is kind of fun. But I've just got him stamped on there using some VersaFine Clair Nocturne ink. I think this is it's gonna work out great. I like this card. All right, so now I need to decide exactly where I want my lights to go. And I'm going to bring in some clear Scotch tape, just some, regular clear tape, stuff you'd use for, making a present all wrapped up. And I've decided I do want one light up above so that we can make our alien show up a little bit better. And where I had it wasn't exactly where I wanted it. So I'm going to put it in between so that it'll also sort of light up the lights of the UFO as well as where our little alien is. And then I'm going to take these other 2 and they're going to go on the side of the beam. Might have been better if I'd have put it like it's coming down from the beam, but I liked how this looked too. You do have a lot of options here. And then I'll just check it out, make sure everything looks good. And I like the way that looks, so I'm happy. The light is shining on all the areas that I'm hoping it'll shine on. And then I'm just going to use some liquid glue to adhere down my mechanism. And the panel was trimmed down to 4 inches by 5 1/4. So there is going to be a bit of a white border. So I need to keep that in mind while I am tucking everything in. I don't want my mechanism to be out too far, otherwise it'll show. The tape ended up being out too far, so I just kind of pulled that so that won't show. And now as I press the button, everything looks like it's pretty good back there. I am going to glue down that little pink Mylar piece. It's so cute. I love this whole release from Trinity Stamps where it's all alien and UFO type stuff and astronaut. It makes me happy. Now we need to bring in our world's best foam tape because we need to make sure that we have enough space in between our mechanisms so that it's not lit up all the time. And the world's best, as you saw, I was able to pick that piece up that I had attached to the other side and attach it down to the right side where I needed it to be. And now I'm just taking chunks of this and I'm putting it down below on my panel. I've got a few on my card base, just trying to make sure that I don't put it all the way to the side. And then I can peel off all of the release paper. And then we can adhere down our panel to our card base. And everything works great. There's where the button is. So now I'm going to stamp out the press here. That comes from the Pearblossom Press stamp set. And then I'll trim that down using my guillotine trimmer. And then I can just use some liquid glue to adhere that down to the front where the recipient needs to press. Once we have that on there, that's going to finish off our card for today. I love how this turned out. Like I said, this is a part of an Instagram hop, so head down to my description box where you can hit the link to head to my Instagram. If you liked this video, be sure to hit that like button. Definitely consider subscribing if you haven't already done so. And as always, I will see you very soon in another video. Bye, everybody.